Testing, testing, 1, 2. This is Paul. Testing, testing, 1, 2 on air. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to round 5 of the TCR Europe Championship here at an incredibly warm circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps, where we have got lined up today what should be an exceptional day of racing as our drivers are getting everything ready and preparing for the first of 2 races this weekend at the iconic Belgian venue. And let me tell you, air temperature 31 degrees, track temperature of 46 degrees, and 35% humidity. We're going to have an incredible challenge for our drivers to overcome over the course of this next 8-lap race. It is warm. It is very, very warm indeed here in Belgium, and it's going to be fascinating. One of the stories, I'm sure, of this race will be how the drivers, how the cars and how the tyres cope over a race stint. And we may see some surprises as today's activity unfolds. Let's have a quick look before we talk about that one. At the entry list, we have got some new drivers taking part in TCR Europe 2022 this weekend, so it's a very warm welcome to the RC2 junior team, which brings with them 3 cars for Ruben and Felipe Fernandez, and also Sergio Lopez taking part as well. So it's great to see those 3 drivers on the grid with us today. We've also got another new name in Marco Butte for Elite by Come2U Racing, one of the rookie drivers in today's classification. In fact, the only rookie driver in today's race. Marco making his debut outside of his traditional Italian TCR competition. Very first time in TCR Europe, very first time at Spa-Francorchamps as well. Somebody who's been here before though and knows all about the challenges of this beautiful 4+ kilometre circuit is Franco Girolami, the man who put the car on pole position in qualification this morning. Girolami in incredible form aboard the Come2U Audi, but Klim Gavrilov having a fabulous season in 2022 is second in the Cupra Competizione. So Gavrilov will be keen to move forward as the race progresses. And let's not forget that Volcano car, and Callejas, his teammate in 3rd place behind him, was dominant last time out in 2021, taking a double race victory. Thanks to 2020, should I say, taking a double race victory with Mikel Ashkona. So we know the Cupra is incredibly quick. Ashkona again took race 2 victory last season aboard that car. So be prepared to see the Volcano team potentially moving forward as the race unfolds. A good qualification for Nicola Baldan for target competition as well. Baldan's had a bit of a rough time, but it's fair to say, over the last few races, so a good job to bounce back with a very strong qualification spot for this first race for the Italian driver. And again, a different mark, a different model, a different whole ethos of going racing in the Hyundai Elantra compared to the cars ahead. So it'll be fascinating to see how him and teammate Felice Gelmini manage the first few laps of this race, and more importantly, as we said at the very top of the show, how they overcome these temperatures over the course of a full race stint. Spa-Francorchamps has undergone some work over the last few months, so this is a very different prospect our drivers are faced with coming into this race compared to what they've experienced before. Eau Rouge being one of the biggest changes. Of course, we've got gravel now on the outside of the La Source hairpin, so that's very much limited opportunities for our drivers to take liberties with track limits. And I think we can expect to see a few bits of drama because of these changes. The wind is picking up. As you can see, the Belgian flag blowing in the breeze. Trust me, we cannot feel that breeze out on the circuit. This is going to be so difficult for our drivers. Jack Young there for Halden Motorsport had a very solid qualifying 7th on the grid, and Young will be looking to move forward. Was very quick over the course of free practice, fastest in free practice too, in fact. So the Honda, despite being one of the older cars on the grid, is looking like a competitive proposition heading into these 2 races at Spa-Francorchamps. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what you came for. This is why we are all sat at home on the edge of our sofa, no doubt, because we're about to go racing. Let's have a look at the starting grid. Franco Girolami is our pole position man, ahead of Klim Gavrilov in 2nd. Isidro Callejas and Nicola Baldan are 3rd and 4th on the grid. Felice Gelmini in 5th position, just ahead of teammate Josh Files, 2 Hyundai Elantras, 5th and 6th place. Jack Young and Matto Homola, 7th and 8th position. Tom Coronel, subdued in qualifying in 9th position, carrying maximum weight, but will be on the front row of the grid tomorrow, just ahead of Joachim Galash, John Felipe Pepe Oriola, Mike Halder, our new driver, our rookie leader, Butte, in 14th place. Davidovsky, Diamond Trophy driver, Diamond Trophy dominator this season, is 15th. In 17th is Giacomo Gamandi, another one of our Diamond Trophies. Michel Halder, position 18th. The Fernandez brothers, Ruben and Felipe, 19th and 20th. Martin Riva in 21st position. And rounding out our grid is Sergio Lopez in the RC2 junior team, Cupra Competición. So let's see how our stars, our class of 2022 in TCR Europe overcome what is arguably one of the finest racetracks, not just in Europe, but in the whole world. Spa-Francorchamps is a wonderful place to go racing. It never fails to inspire the drivers, to inspire the fans trackside, and hopefully you at home as well. We are going to have 8 incredibly intense laps. I am absolutely sure qualifying was a very tight affair this morning. Any one, realistically, of our top 10 drivers has a very healthy chance to score big points over the course of this race. That is the Halder team just looking on nervously, trying to stay out of the sunshine, just waiting to see how their 3 cars go through the course of this race. Of course, Jack Young is the leader of that team in terms of qualification, with team owner, team managing director and driver Mike Halder and sister Michelle Halder taking place as well. So let's see. Halder they've had a difficult time as well. Mike started very, very competitive, if we remember, all the way back in Portimao for round 1, but seems to have dropped off the pace a little bit recently. That's the driver's standings, by the way, is Franco Girolamo, is our championship leader from Tom Coronel. The 2 Comte cars have been very competitive indeed this season. Klim Gavrilov will be up end of the grid, and Homler, of course, let's remember, 8th on the grid for this sprint, but of course, to finish first you have to finish, and the big target for these drivers over the course of the next lap or so is just stay out of trouble. Keep things clean, don't get involved in any instance that you don't need to be involved in. Stay out of danger, get no damage on the car, and then you can start thinking the big picture and what's going to happen over the duration of the following 8 laps. We're just rounding the back end of the circuit now. Of course, TCR cars, TCR Europe has a standing start scenario, so Franco Girolamo will lead the cars through the bus stop down to the start finish grid, where the drivers will line up within their boxes. When the final car lines up at the back of the grid, the green flag will wave and racing will commence. And in these weather conditions, if you are Franco Girolamo, if you are Klim Gavrilov, if you are Isidro Callejas, you do not want to be sat on that grid for any longer than you absolutely have to be, because the heat will build through the cars, the heat from the brakes, the tyres, the engine. Not only will it get warm in the cockpit, but all the very important mechanics and internals will start to overheat, and then that puts you in a situation where you could be in a bit of strife where it comes to reliability. So let's hope that the field, which it does, starts to gather up at the back of the grid and take their positions nice and quick. There we can see Fernandez, Martin Riva as well, another one of our Diamond Trophy drivers in the Brutal Fish Honda, and then Perez lining up at the back, Lopez, lining up at the back of the grid. So then, folks at home, get ready for some good times. Engine res rise. Round 5 of TCR Europe 2022 at Spa-Francorchamps is go, and everybody gets away cleanly. A slow start at the front of the grid for Gavrilov. Goes to the inside to colour, but Callejas immediately finds a way past. Josh Files using the brave pills down the inside into La Source. Can he run alongside the Volcano car? Yes, he can. Somebody on corner exit just kicks up a little bit of the gravel, the new gravel at La Source. That was Nicola Baldan, I think. That's compromised Baldan now for the run down into Eau Rouge. We see one of the Brutal Fish cars off in the background as well. Is that Pepe Orioli? Yes, I think it might be. So Oriola in strife. The Gumandi kicking smoke up from the rear of his car as well. Further down the running order, a couple of the drivers take to the exit of the top of Radion just to stay out of trouble, but pretty much our entire field makes it through cleanly, and Josh Files on a charge now on the outside, coming through the first one of the significant braking zones here at Spa-Francorchamps. Does not have enough of an overlap though to make his way past Isidro Callejas. So Callejas has a great start up in a second position, courtesy of Gavrilov. Teammate Gavrilov's rather slow start away from the line. Josh Files doing everything he can to leverage his good start as well into one of the podium places. Further down the running order, that's another Brutal Fish car, I think. in strife, and there's the first retirement of the day. That is Ruben Fernandez in the gravel. We just saw Giacomo Gamandi recovering as well, so hopefully we'll catch that one again, what exactly happened there, and exactly what we said at the top of the show. You want to stay out of trouble in these opening laps, but unfortunately for Gamandi and Fernandez, that was not the case. That is Marco Buzzi, one of our new drivers in the green Audi that we see there, flashing his lights, trying to put Halder under pressure ahead and find his way up from a very, very impressive 14th position. Yellow flags are flying in turn 7, courtesy of the abandoned Fernandez car, so hopefully we'll find out what's happening there. Further down the running order, Tom Coronel to the inside of Jack Young. Coronel uses all the curves and more. Jack Young loses that position, so good pass by Coronel. Pepe Oriola limping his way back to pit lane as well, so the Spaniard in some form of strife. Hopefully we'll find out exactly what happened to Pepe Oriola in this opening lap. But meanwhile, the top of the field, it is Franco Girolamo, our race leader from Isidro Callejas. Josh Filders holding on to that third position from teammate Nicola Baldad. Felice Gelmini in 5th place as well, and inevitably, ladies and gentlemen, the safety car has been called. The drivers will all slow down. There we can see the snatch vehicle on the racetrack. The marshals doing great work, as always, to try and clear up the track as quickly as possible and get us back under green flag conditions, and this is a godsend for Pepe Oriola. You can see the dirt on the tyres. You can see a flat tyre actually at the rear of the car, whether that is contact or other dramas, but Oriola now has a bit of a safety margin to get down pit lane and potentially, if the damage is not too significant, get that repaired and back out onto the racetrack without losing a lap. And there we go, that is Fernandez's car well buried into the gravel there. That may take a little while, and just to remind anybody who's perhaps new to the world of TCR Europe, we allow an additional 2 laps race distance in case of a safety car scenario. So we're scheduled to run for 8 laps, but we can increase that up to 10 laps overall if that takes a little while to get Fernandez's car out of the track and then tidy the track up as well. Martin Rieber down pit lane for Brutal Fish, so a disaster, absolute disaster for Brutal Fish on the opening lap of this race. Both of their cars very firmly out of contention, and let's take a look at this start again. To the right of your screen is Kim Gladrilov. Just too much wheel spin away from the line. That compromises the car and allows his teammate pass. We see to the right-hand side, that is Nicola Valdan trying to go the long way around. Josh Files is the man with all the aggression in the world to the inside and uses that to good effect. And there we go. That is Fernandez being unceremoniously spat to the outside of the racetrack through Lecombe. So a very, very short stay in TCR Europe race number 5 here at Spa-Francorchamps for our new driver, Ruben Fernandez. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully the car is not too badly damaged and he can get the team together to work on that one to get the car out again for round 6 tomorrow morning. And there are 2 very disappointed Brutal Fish drivers. A shrug of the shoulders from Pepe Oriola. Sometimes these are the breaks, folks, and unfortunately for those 2, that is a very, very early end to the activity for Brutal Fish. Martin Rieber, Pepe Oriola, both out of the cars and into retirement. Ruben Fernandez on the racetrack there. Look at the gravel, folks, on that track. That is going to reduce the grip significantly for our drivers, potentially even bringing us to just a single racing line for the next couple of laps. So everybody will be taking note of that as they circle around the circuit behind the safety car, just spotting where the grip is when we get back into racing conditions. And wow, that's some damage to the side of Pepe Oriola's Honda Civic. So obviously the Brutal Fish mechanics in this incredible heat are going to have their work cut out to get everything back up and running. Will Oriola be back out again? I don't think so. He's out of the car, the helmet's off, so that is game, set and match. But now's a good opportunity to assess how much work is ahead of the team this afternoon, this evening, into tonight to get the car ready. We race again 11:30 a.m. local time, so we're back on track again quite early on Sunday morning. So unfortunately for Brutal Fish, maybe the midnight oils will need to be burnt, and there are 2 very, very upset drivers. From the outside, I was principal team owner of Brutal Fish, just explaining what's happening. Contact, he's saying, is Martin Rieber with one of his rivals, and that put it, unfortunately, into retirement. A very, very frustrating end to all the hard work that these teams and drivers undertake. Of course, we have 2 practice sessions that are held on a Friday. Qualification happened this morning, Q1 and Q2. There are points as well in qualification in TCR Europe. The Brutal Fish cars, Martin just struggled with that. Let's have a quick replay here. That is Oriola I think the car looked like it was quite up towards the front of the field, so that could well have been Pepe Oriol. And what exactly happened to him? We saw the end of the incident, and there we go. That is the other Brutal Fish car making contact with Fernandez. And this is the drama, unfortunately, in a series, the Touring Car Championship, especially one as competitive as TCR Europe. All the cars, all the teams and all the drivers are so closely matched in this series. There are a number of cars out on track. We've got 21 cars taking part, 22 cars, sorry, taking part this weekend. Everybody's desperate for track position. Everybody's desperate to get an advantage over their rivals in the early stage of the race, where overtaking theoretically is at its easiest. And unfortunately, 22 cars, hungry competitive racing drivers, hot temperatures on track and in the air. Sometimes contact occurs. So let's take a breather for a moment. We're still behind the safety cars. You can see at the top of your screen, we've upped the lap count now to 10, so there will be 10 laps in this race. And let's have a look at the running order. Franco Girolami from pole position converted that into race lead, which he still holds from young Isidro Callejas in second. Josh Files was very spicy off of the line and to good effect to hold on to third position for the number 99, the 2019 TCR Europe champion. His teammate Nicola Balda is in fourth position. Felice Gelmini, so all three of the target competition Hyundais are third, fourth and fifth on the track. Klim Gavrilov recovered from that disappointing start and holds sixth position. Gavrilov will be frustrated by that, but we know he's got pace in that car, so we'll keep our eye on Gavrilov over the course of the race, and he is just ahead of Tom Coronel. Remember, Coronel started in 9th place, so already has made a couple of spots up in the running order to be running 7th at this juncture of the event. Jack Young is just behind in the lead of the Halder cars, position 8th. Joachim Galash, who is going to be our pole sitter tomorrow, is in 9th position, and then John Philippi rounds out our top 10 runners. In 11th place, Victor Davidovski is currently the leader of the Diamond Trophy. Davidovski won outright last time at Le Castellet as well, remember, and is undefeated this season in the Diamond Trophy, so another good run for the Contiu driver. He's ahead of Mike Halder in 13th. Marco Butti, who is our new and our only sole rookie driver in the field today, is holding on to 14th, exactly where he qualified this morning. Evangeni Leonov is 15th, just ahead of Michelle Halder, who's made a couple of spots up from her qualification. Fernandez, the remaining Fernandez in this field, is Felipe in 17th, just ahead of Sergio Lopez. Giacomo Gamanda is still circulating on track, despite we saw him having to recover to the escape road earlier on. And then, as we know, Martin Riva, Pepe Oriola and Ruben Fernandez, three drivers, are out of competition. They're at the Yannick team. Hello to you, staying in the shade, watching the broadcast. Great to see you. Hello, hello. Safety car in this lap. That is a lot of very concerned looking Volcano team members. Their car is 2nd and 6th in this race. So Isidro Callejas leading the charge. And when we spoke to him, he suggested that there's no team orders amongst their teammates, but because of Gavrilov's very disappointing start, Callejas now has free rein to go and attack Franco Girolami. Let's see if he can do that as we start to wind ourselves back up again to go to green flag conditions. The safety car is still running out on the racetrack, but it's coming in on this lap, so the lights will go out in a few corners time. The car will peel down the pit lane and Franco Girolami will in effect become our safety car driver until we get to the line, and then it is foot to the floor. And here we go again, some more of the Volcano team having a wave there, enjoying this beautiful day. It's like Singapore rather than Spa-Francorchamps here. Such is the heat and humidity on the racetrack, and let me tell you, when you're in a racing car and the action is temporarily paused, if you're running under safety car conditions, the heat builds up in the cockpit, the adrenaline fades away a little bit as you're just managing the car until it's time to go again. And this will be very difficult for our drivers. They'll be getting so much warmer. You don't really want to wind the window down because that's going to affect the aerodynamic balance. That's going to cause more drag and in effect make you slower out on racetrack. So this is a hot experience for our drivers, and Franco Girolami won't mind any of that temperature whatsoever if he can convert this race lead into a race victory. There's the Halder team watching on as well for their 3 cars still in the race at this moment in time. Jack Young, of course, as I say, 8th position, is the one that's leading the charge. But there we go, the safety car peels off. Franco Girolami immediately builds a gap and then accelerates through down into the bus stop chicane. This is the last part of the lap. When he gets out of the bus stop chicane, crosses the safety car line, we will be back racing once again. And Girolami gets a great launch away on this restart, immediately gapping Isidro Callejas behind. Josh Files on the defensive from Nicola Baldan. Baldan looks to the outside into the source. Will he cut back to the inside? No, he gives respect to his teammate, but Felice Gelmini almost collects the rear of Nicola Baldan. Gelmini, massive reactions to keep the car away from the rear of his target competition teammate, but that will compromise him significantly. Was in 5th position, did not expect Baldan to check up as hard as it did into La Source, and Gelmini almost had himself the mother and father of shunts, but keeps the car just about on the racetrack. There's Boutier, new driver at the back of the train as well, fighting well. He's got Leonov behind him. That's the 3rd of the brutal cars. Callejas shadowing shadowing Franco Girolami ahead. Josh Files in clean air now. We've got Baldan under pressure from Gavrilov on the recovery drive. Can Baldan keep that volcano machine behind? He does not have the pace of teammate Josh Files at the beginning of this restart. So Nicola Baldan under massive pressure now, qualified in 4th. We know he's got pace in that car, but if he drops too far away from Josh Files, he takes himself out of the all-important slipstream. That will compromise his straight line speed. That will give an advantage to Gavrilov, who's kicking on the dirt on the apex as well. So Gavrilov hungry to make amends. Already he's up to 5th position thanks to Gelmini's dramas in the braking zone for La Source hairpin, and Gavrilov will be very, very keen indeed to clear Nicola Baldan ahead and start to look at that podium position. So here we go, look at this, Josh Files at the front, Baldan goes to the outside, almost covering his teammate, decides to fall back in line. That just completely catches Gelmini out, and he does great work to throw the car to the left-hand side of the racetrack, stay out of the barriers, but most importantly of all, to stay out of the rear of his target competition teammate. So Gelmini will have eyes like dustbin lids at this stage, following that almost disaster. In fact, there we go, he's made a place up, you see on your screen there, Gelmini's name in green, moves up ahead of Jack Young and into 7th position. So the recovery drive begins. Tom Coronel, meanwhile, has kept nice and quiet, has snuck his way into 6th position. Next on the list is Gavrilov. You do not go on the inside of like that. He's a very, very brave move. Gavrilov keeps the foot firmly to the floor, kisses the gravel on the outside as well. Too wide at that part of the racetrack is not something that ends in a good way. But Tom Coronel, 50 years old he may be, but he has got more bravery than I have times 10. That is a big bit of driving. Look at the back of your screen as well. We'll just see Butti recovering there as well. So a bit of drama in a bus stop for Marco Butti. We'll find out what happened in a little while. But while Coronel and Gavrilov are fighting, that has allowed Felice Gelmini to get back in to this fight. And along with him, Jack Young is not giving up as well, hanging on to the coattails of the trio ahead of them. Now let's see. The aerodynamic shape of the Audi, the Conti Audi of Coronel really helps him push through the air despite being carrying maximum success ballast. Is that enough to bring him into contention with the car ahead, or is he now under pressure from Felice Gelmini? The smoke at the back of one of the Yannick cars, whether that's set up or whether that is maybe some tyre trouble, we'll have a look as Coronel defends to the inside, just about keeps that one. This has got nip and tuck written all over it. Any one of these 3 cars could find their way past. Conversely, any one of these 3 cars could find themselves being gobbled up by the field if they're not too careful, and Coronel recognises that threat. Coronel wants to get past Gavrilov as quickly as he can, not just because he wants to take the position away. He needs to clear the field behind, who are crawling all over the back of the bright yellow Conti Audi. So Coronel now is in a damned if he does, damned if he doesn't position. He's got to force the initiative with Gavrilov ahead of him to try and take that 5th position away. But this is great news for Nicola Baldan a little further up the field, because that gives him some freedom. As we see, there we go, that is once again an incredibly exciting manoeuvre at Blanchimont. Flat out maximum attack in a touring car is that corner side by side. Both drivers, in fact, to be fair, did well to avoid coming together. A bit of smoke kicking up in the background as someone just dips their wheels off. Some of the newly installed driver here on the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps, but no harm, no foul there. Everybody's still running. John Philippi, a little bit of a lonely figure at the back of that train as well. So Philippi will be desperate to buy in to this excitement ahead of him as well, if he possibly can, in the Sebastian Loeb racing car. So let's keep an eye on John Philippi to see if he can slowly but surely eke his way into this fight. And here we go again. Coronel once again stay within track limits, gentlemen. That's a little bit spicy through Blanchimont, but both cars pretty much stay within the green. I dare say that for Gelmini behind, maybe that was a little bit further out of track limits, and Gelmini gets an outstanding launch through the bus stop. Has to be careful not to get run out of racetrack and onto the grass. Coronel has that one covered. We run down into the source now. Coronel to the inside, Gelmini looking to the outside, want to throw the car up the inside. No, he does not. Coronel good on the brakes and manages to get a strong exit through the source as well. Now the cars start to wind their way downhill into the dip. The compression is significant in a TCR touring car as we run up to Eau Rouge, one of the most famous corners in world motorsport. Catch a little bit of curve on the inside, catch a little bit of curve on the second part, with straight line as much as possible over the top of the hill into Radion for the long run down the Camel Straight. Here and now is Felice Gelmini's opportunity to get the slipstream of both cars ahead of him. Gavrilov recognises the danger very firmly on the defensive in the run to Lecomte. Coronel looks to the outside. If he can hold on, that will become the inside, but he cannot. And Gelmini now almost kissing the rear of the Audi in his efforts to find a way past. Coronel has gone from the attacker to the defender. Felice Gelmini all over the rear of the bright yellow car. Jack Young keeping a watching brief. Coronel maybe made a little bit of contact with the Volcano car ahead. Just a light love tap to let him know, to let Gavrilov know that there's a hungry driver wanting his way past. Jack Young does the same as well to Felice Gelmini. So Gelmini is another driver that's gone from attacker to defender in the blink of an eye. And Joachim Galash now in the Yannick Motorsport car is starting to buy into this fight. While these four cars are squabbling over each other, Galash is closing the gap down. Armfuls of time per lap, and now a three-way has turned into a four-way, has turned into a five-way fight out on racetrack. And John Philippi still trying to close down. There is the contact between Young and Gelmini. Only a light tap, half an open door, but not quite enough for a Jack Young-sized car to throw himself down the inside. And good defending and good, once again, car control for Gelmini there as Matto Hommler. We saw a little smoke on one of the Yannick cars a few laps ago. I wondered whether that was a mechanical issue or whether that was just the nature, the body language of the car, but apparently that is drama. So Matto Hommler is down pit road and sadly looks to be out of this race, or at the very least out of contention for a points-paying result, as once again Jack Young heavily defensive at the back of your shot. Galas very, very keen to find a way past, has closed up quickly, and now he's hit something of a roadblock as there are four TCR-shaped cars ahead of him, and he needs to find a way past those very quickly indeed, because John Philippi, we spoke about him being a little bit removed from this fight just one lap ago, is now firmly in this training continue team, looking on as their cars continue to circulate around track and provide much of the entertainment that we're enjoying. Matto Hommler for Yannick Motorsport is back out on the racetrack, so good work by the team to get Hommler back on the track. He'll just be checking the car over, making sure everything is okay for race 2 tomorrow in case they need to do a little bit more work. Coronel slow off the top of the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion. Again, remember, Coronel running maximum success ballast. That makes him vulnerable to the Hyundai Elantra. And Coronel very late on the defensive, but not enough of an overlap for Felice Gelmini to find a way past. So just about survives for another set of corners does Tom Coronel. Further back, we've got too wide. Oh, no contact between Galash and Jack Young. Galash, fantastic car control, keeps the foot firmly to the floor. Front wheel drive, pulls the car back around again, and Joachim Galash somehow performs heroics to keep the car on the racetrack, and then goes back to the inside of Jack Young. Young tries to hold it out alongside him. He'll have the inside for the next section of corners. Galash moves the car back to the inside once again. Philippi decides, I'll go 3 wide with you boys. This looks like a whole load of fun. And then we see John Philippi, ever the hunter predator. One move, one pass. John Philippi makes it look simple, while Joachim Kalash is giving out all the entertainment in the world and more, but he's not done yet. Philippi now, a little bit of damage at the rear of the car, some trailing bodywork on the front wheel arch, in fact, so Philippi's got up close and personal with something or someone. But check this out now, folks. We see Young keeps the car to the inside. Gallas does not recognise that there's a car there, turns in on him. That immediately brings the rear end round, winding the lock on, keeping the foot flat to the floor, stones flying through the air. That is some sensational visuals. And then, well, you and I would be going, whew, what has happened here? Galash immediately on the attack again, tries to take that place away, and then ever the opportunistic John Philippi sneaks in and takes that position away. So Galash needs to take a few corners now just to regather his composure, get his tyres back in that optimal working range. And Jack Young, if he's got any sense whatsoever, will put his foot firmly to the floor to try and gap the chasing car. But Joachim Galash, fantastic car control, and thankfully for him, he still stays out on track in 10th position. And meanwhile, the front of the field, Franco Girolami currently holds an advantage of around 6/10 of a second from Isidro Callejas, so he retains first and second position for the ComTU and Volcano Motorsport cars respectively. Josh Files is a further 1.8 seconds in arrears in third position ahead of his teammate Nicola Baldan. And then we've got this little battle between Clint Gavrilo in fifth, Tom Coronel sixth, Felice Gelmine in seventh, Jack Young in eighth, out ninth, and Joachim Galash. And there is Josh Files kicking up the smoke from his tyres, wafts the car heavily down into Le Combe. You cannot afford to do too much of that, Josh Files, otherwise tyres that are already incredibly marginal on this track in these conditions will very, very quickly be in a very difficult position. Thank you very much. So Files just about gets away with that one, and that is Homola back in pit road again, recognise that there's no issue with the car, telling the mechanics, yep, we're all good, just do the preparation work and live to fight another day, come back again tomorrow morning and have another stab at this one. Franco Girolami squirrely is that Audi RS3. We thought at the beginning of this broadcast that the tyres would start to give up their best towards the end of the race. Of course, since then, we've extended the race distance to 10 laps thanks to the safety car for Fernandez. So Girolami was worried about how the car would behave over the course of a stint, and that's starting to get quite a bit of movement on board that ComTU Audi. So Girolami under pressure now. Callejas knows to be specific, know how to go incredibly quickly around Spa-Francorchamps in a Cupra Competizione. So Callejas would fancy his chances on this one. Girolami will have the next 2 laps holding on for dear life. And there is John Philippi. So what happened there? John Philippi goes for a quick visit to the beach, decides he doesn't fancy that one, it's a bit too hot to be next to the seaside. He gets back on the racetrack. But Philippi, that we said earlier, was having a very quiet, very John Philippi style race, just picking off positions, has himself some significant drama. That drops him down into 12th position. That promotes Jack Young up in a weight. Galash back into 9th position, and our Diamond Trophy race leader Victor Davidovsky is in 10th position, just ahead of Evangeny Leonov in 11th, who's the second of our 2 Diamond Trophies. Meanwhile, on rookie watch, Marco Buzzi has dropped down to 15th position now, so the sole rookie will be guaranteed the rookie trophy victory, but his 15th overall, so lost 1 place compared to his starting position, and that place was lost to Felipe Fernandez, another one of our new drivers that moves himself up into position 14. Now, Josh Files, let's watch the break-in zone between himself and Nicola Baldan as we run down into Le Combe again. Last lap, Files heavily locked the inside wheel of the Hyundai Elantra. Cannot afford to do that one as grip starts to drip away from the drivers in the incredible temperatures here at Spa. And Baldan had some dramas as they own earlier in the race, but maybe he's looked after the car a little bit better, and it's starting to come into its own. Now that is Victor Davidovsky that we spoke about leading the Diamond Trophy. Look at the violence of that one. Runs wide onto one of the new thicker and deeper gravel traps. Does well to keep the car on the straight and narrow, but that will be an uncomfortable ride for Victor Davidovsky, and that allows Evgeny Leonov into 10th place, and with it, the lead of the Diamond Trophy, as the two target cars now are separated by absolutely nothing. Italian Nicola Baldan fancies his chances of taking the position away from teammate Josh Files. Files does not look as comfortable in that car. Baldan has the lights on, signalling to his teammate, Josh, I think I can go faster. Let's have a race, or let me go and see what I can do about the cars ahead. But this is TCR Europe, which is incredibly competitive, and Josh Files has sat in a podium place, and he's not been on the podium this season, so Files will not be giving this place away without a massive challenge. What's happening here? This is Felice Gelmini again in strife. Gavrilov, light contact, that's Brussels. The cars are going around, light contact between the two, and Gelmini goes out onto the wider part of the racetrack, but both cars remain very firmly in this motor race, and Baldan now glued to the rear of Josh Files, loses downforce through Blanchiment, which pushes the car wide. That somewhat stunts the challenge for the run into the bus stop chicane, but now Nicola Baldan needs to keep it clean, spots the braking zone, stay exactly where the car needs to be, because you're not interested now. You're not interested in La Source, you're not interested in the run up Eau Rouge, you want the slipstream for the run down the Kemmel Straight and into the braking zone of Le Combe, and that's exactly what Nicola Baldan is planning out. 3, 4, 5 corners in advance for his charge against his teammate Tom Coronel, gapping Kim Gavrilov a little bit in the Volcano car as well. So Coronel started to come into his own in 5th position, a nice solid points haul for Tom Coronel, who's second in the championship standings, but will be losing if things stay like they are on the final lap. We'll be losing out to teammate Franco Girolami in the points playing positions, as Coronel just kicking up the smoke and is leaning on the car heavily through Eau Rouge. These TCR touring cars are so alive through Eau Rouge, the amount of movement. And there's Franco Girolami, locks up through the car on the final lap, makes his first mistake of the race, locks up, gets the car back on the track, but that is an open door that Isidro Callejas does not need to be invited to walk through twice, and Callejas cannot believe his luck. The Volcano team cannot believe their good fortune. Race-long pressure pays off on the very final lap. Franco Girolami makes a mistake. Youngster Isidro Callejas is there to pounce immediately and is now our race leader as we come to the final half of round 5 at Spa-Francorchamps, the final half of the lap. All Isidro Callejas needs to do now is keep the car on the racetrack. There we go, a little lock of a tyre. Girolami desperately trying to get the car back on the racetrack. Technically, you have to use the escape road if you go too far wide, and look at that. Volcano Motorsports are delighted with their young charger, Isidro Callejas. This will be an incredible result for the Spanish driver if he can just bring the car home over the course of this final lap. Girolami will be furious that the race victory has slipped through his fingers, but this is still outstanding points for Franco Girolami's championship, so you have to take what is given to you when you have it. But Isidro Callejas does not care about any of this. All he wants to do is cross that checkered flag and take the trophy for race victory. We're coming up for the final time to the bus stop chicane. Callejas will be cautious on the brakes, making sure he doesn't miss his marker. Don't be too aggressive with the curves. Don't ride anything too hard. Just bring the car home. Look to the right-hand side. There is the checkered flag waves. Isidro Callejas is a race victor in round 5 of TCR Europe at the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Volcano Motorsport are delighted with that performance, and so they should be. An incredible race win over 10 laps for Isidro Callejas. Franco Girolami, having taken pole, having led right the way through to the final tour, crosses the line in 2nd position. Josh Files picks up his first podium of the season in 3rd place for target competition. Teammate Nicola Baldan, despite almost being wiped out by
Felice Gelmini on the opening lap, opening corner, comes home in 4th. Tom Coronel, 5th position. Klim Gavrilov in 6th position. Elena from Volcano Motorsport, absolutely delighted with that one. Those Elena and Callejas, very, very good working together. We spoke to them many times here at TCR Europe, and that will mean just as much to her as it does to Callejas. Race victory in the most exciting of styles you could possibly wish for. He'll be sat in that car thinking, what has happened? How has this happened? I don't know, but I will take it. Race long pressure pays off, and it all happened through a great start down into La Source and race victory. Let's have a look at how happy the young Spaniard is at that one. Isidro Callejas, what a result. Photographer taking a shot there as he goes to celebrate with his team. Trust me, it's very, very warm indeed. In a full fire suit, full fire underwear, a helmet, a balaclava, gloves and shoes, having done a 10-lap race, to be jumping up and down on the spot. But Callejas, the adrenaline will be flowing through his body. He is so delighted to take that win. And he's such a strong driver, Isidro Callejas, only incredibly young, 18 years of age, has a massive future in the world of TCR Europe and touring cars in general. There we go, the team jumping over. Franco Girolami, ever the sportsman, goes over, congratulates Callejas as well for taking the victory. Look how happy he is there, gets the sponsor's cap on, and congratulations. That's going to take a while to sink in. Isidro Callejas, you are a race winner in TCR Europe at Spa-Francorchamps. What a drive. What a performance from Volcano Motorsport as well, continuing their enviable record of producing cars that win races in TCR Europe at Spa-Francorchamps. Champion Mikel Azcona won race 2 in 2021. In 2020, Azcona took both of the race victories. So from 5 races, that's 4 victories. Not a bad return for Volcano Motorsport at all. They really know how to bring a very, very competitive race car to this beautiful Belgian circuit. Josh Files as well, one of our, to be quite frank, pre-season championship favourites for target competition. It's had a bit more of a difficult year than we expected, but gets his first podium, and that moves him to 5th in the championship standing. So Franco Girolami is still our thing, but let's have a word with our race winner.
Isidro, how surprised are you, delighted?
I have no words for the race. I think it's had been a really tough race, yeah. A really tough race. But finally we're here. What's the position we want, and yes.
But you kept the pressure on right the way through the race. How did you feel on that last lap?
Well, it was amazing, yeah. You know, everybody wants to win, and well, it comes here, the win.
5 races, 5 different winners. It's going to be an exciting championship this year.
For sure it will be.
Well done.
Thank you.
Fantastic to hear from Isidro Callejas. Mark James conducting the podium interview with our race winner, and as Mark says, 5 races, 5 different winners. We said right at the very, let's wind back to Portimao, when I said to you all, this is going to be one of the most competitive touring car series in the world, and it's going to produce sensational racing from the second boat racing. That's exactly what has happened. Franco Girolami would have dearly loved to be the first double winner of the year, but unfortunately that was not to be. But big points for Girolami. Second position, his main championship rival, Tom Coronel, coming home in position 5, and of course the points for qualification as well. So Girolami, when the sting has worn out from losing the race victory, he'll be very satisfied with his day's work today. And of course we go again tomorrow, so don't forget that we're racing again on Sunday at 11:30 AM local for round 6. So there are 1 or 2 stories that we need to continue tomorrow as well. There's a case of redemption from some drivers, a case of maximising what might have been and fighting back from some others. But as always, Spa-Francorchamps just produces sensational racing, and these are our top 10 finishers. Isidro Callejas from Franco Girolami and Josh Files are our podium sitters for Cupra, Audi and Hyundai respectively. Nicola Baldan, Tom Coronel, Klim Gavrilov 4, 5 and 6. Felice Gelmini had himself more than his fair share of drama as he came home in 7th place from Jack Young. Joachim Galash, who'll be on pole tomorrow, don't forget, was 9th eventually, just ahead of Evangeny Leonov in 10th place. Viktor Davidovsky takes his first defeat in the Diamond Trophy of the season, coming home in 11th position, beaten to the flag by Leonov at the death. John Philippi, following his traversion through the gravel, was 12th place. Mike Halder, 13th. Fernandez, on his first race of the season in the championship, crosses the line in 14th, just ahead of Marco Butti. In 15th, Michel Halder, P16, Lopez 17, and Gamande in 18th position. Fantastic stuff, fantastic scenes here at Spa-Francorchamps. Because I promise you a good race today, and I promise you another good race tomorrow. Fabulous scenes at Spa-Francorchamps, some incredible drivers, some incredible drama, plenty of smiling faces. And it's what we come motor racing for, ladies and gentlemen. And we hope you enjoyed that one just as much as we enjoyed it. There'll be a few drivers that are going to go away and lick their wounds this evening. But don't you worry, they will come back stronger next time out. Fabulous stuff from everybody at TCR Europe. What a race, what a weekend, and what a start to rounds 5 and 6, TCR Europe 2022. So there is our race winner. Adjust his hat, getting ready for the podium celebrations. He'll be ready for a debrief with the team. They're still shaking his head. He does not believe what happened. And Franco Girolami, you can watch Franco Girolami race for 1,000 years and not see a mistake. So very, very unexpected for the run down into Le Camp. But as we said, tyres very quickly losing grip out on the racetrack. The temperature incredibly hot. We've upped the race laps to 10 as well. So everybody's on the absolute limit. There is the man. Takes second position, a sip of water as well, keep hydrated, takes his second position. And then our race winner, everybody's cheering at the bottom of the podium. Isidro Callejas from Spain takes the victory, celebrates with his team, congratulates his rivals as well. Very sportsmanlike from Callejas. And now it is time for the national anthem. And Callejas can let this soak in just what it means to be a winner at Spa-Francorchamps, which is an incredible result. Hand on heart, that means a lot to Isidro Callejas to take that national anthem, quick wipe of the eyes as well as the emotion starts to get the better of him. Only a very, very young man, incredible to be performing at the level it does in a championship such as TCR Europe, but not only to be performing, but to be at such a high standard, to take race victory. There are 22 drivers in this field, and they are so competitive. And that is Josh Viles in third place, takes his third position trophy, first podium of the season. So congratulations as well to Josh, gets his account off, and that is Marco Butti as well coming up and shaking hands, the rookie race winner. Second position, Franco Girolami. You can't help but feel there's a bit of disappointment in Girolami there. It'll settle down, he'll recognise that that's good points for the championship, but when you see a race victory go begging, it's hard not to be disappointed. Isidro Callejas, there's a number 1 on that trophy, Sunshine. That means you're a winner. Well done indeed. That'll be taking pride of place on the mantelpiece. I am absolutely sure he'll be so happy with that one. Looking forward to speaking to him as when we finish this race and just celebrating with him for a moment. There is Volcano Motorsport taking their winning trophy as well for the team's championship. Well done, Volcano. And Marco Butti, the Italian, making his debut in TCR Europe, takes his rookie winner's trophy as well. Ladies and gentlemen, what a race, what a day, and there is still more to come. These drivers are going to spray some champagne and take some photographs. and cool down a little bit as well. Franco Girolamo just missing the beat completely there. As everybody lines up for the photograph. And here we go. That's your podium positions, people. What a race, what a performance from everybody. And we look forward to welcoming you all back 11:30 a.m. tomorrow for round 6, TCR Europe. Thank you very much for tuning in. Till next time, bye-bye.